Happy hunting.
Hunt me.
I am the hunted one.
I'm hunting most things.
That is Hansel.
You can hunt.
Oh, have you hunted me?
You're being hunted.
Good morning, it is the 15th of July 2018. Let's get into the top 10 curated hunts from steemhunt.com today. I've said that a million times, I'm getting so good at it now, I can just remember it straight away. First one is PITOP. So PITOP, I think, has been awarded Business of the Year in London, which basically means they've greased enough hands, paid enough tax, done enough dues to actually been elevated to get an award. Maybe there's just nobody else doing business as good as PITOP. They're now on version 2 of their machine, which basically means that they have a better product from the first one, which was notoriously difficult in some ways to assemble, or at least a few people had that kind of problem. It's a modular laptop that gives you the tools to complete amazing DIY projects. So the PITOP runs using the Raspberry Pi, and obviously the version that we have now, which is the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, because we don't need any more extensions, B, C, D, E, plus, minus, is the latest iteration, and it's actually a pretty decent basic computer in the fact that it's only like £30-35 to actually buy the board. What makes the PITOP wonderful is that you can just run it like this as a laptop with a keyboard and the screen and the Raspberry Pi, and have like a nice OS and do stuff with the browser and stuff like that. Or you can slide the keyboard down and you've got like almost like a breadboard setup where you can do experiments. So if you feel in a particular mood to do some kind of like programming, or if you want to spend some time at the weekend with your kids, you can just pull that keyboard down, put a breadboard in there, put some LEDs in, write some Python code, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like taking that computer idea and moving it forward a little bit. Instead of it just being browsing YouTube, watching other people creating stuff and consuming, you can actually start to get your kids to realize that they can be makers, they can be creators. And so this helps you to do that. DIY projects brings your inventions to life. Perfect tool to learn to code, create awesome devices, take your knowledge to the next level. $319, so that works out about £250, I reckon, for a machine like this. Bear in mind that for a first laptop, yes, it's not going to be as fast as a up-to-date Windows or Mac, but it's going to push them towards creating. And because my daughter wants to be a forensic scientist, I think one of these has to be on the list at some point. Next up is Games, or Games spelt wrong, Vanguard Black Edition. What a great name, the Vanguard. The Vanguard takes gaming to a whole new level of convenience. You can imagine sitting around, can't you, going, what should we call it? Let's call it the Vanguard. Whole new level of convenience with remote control and PGE Sling. I don't know what a PGE Sling is. Rugged armored shell protects your favorite console while in transit, even if that simply means going from room to room, and it's TSA friendly, so make it your carry-on. Looks kind of cool. I presume the screen is already built in the back there, because I'm not sure what you would be paying $349 for otherwise. So it has a non-reflective 19-inch 720p LED display bolted into the back of it there, and then you just drop your console in it, strap it in. It'd be interesting if you can get like a power unit to go alongside this, because you could just flip this open in the airport and be like console gaming, especially if you've got a Wi-Fi hotspot. I wonder if that would work. Either way, for gamers, clan members, people traveling from event to event, being able to get in those hours like playing in between times in hotel lobbies, waiting buses, stuff like that, being able to like get into the game and just be familiar with the game. I'm sure there's people traveling around with these things. Next up is G2V Optics. This is one I hunted, and the reason why I threw it in here is that I truly believe that hydroponic and these LED systems are going to be the way, are increasingly going to be the way that we take control of food production. We're already starting to see shipping containers with this stuff inside of it, and while this is enterprise class, research class stuff, so it's not for your average consumer, the methodology and the actual technology behind this stuff is what I would recommend you use. It's no point just getting the white and pink LED spectrum lights and hanging them up willy-nilly, and you're asking yourself for a fire situation there. This has been specially crafted. You can still see that the lighting structures have been kind of, you know, designed to slide in there, and that the actual enclosure itself is like a heat sink. So any heat that is produced in the space down below from the LEDs obviously emitting it's dissipated through that thing, and so that just minimizes for me in my head like fire risk. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these, and I think they'll end up like entertaining different verticals, lower level businesses to consumers. They'll have some consumer kind of model within 6-12 months, because they're going to have to entertain other audiences, because once you're up and running, you pretty much know how long the LED light's going to last, and so you're not going to have repeat business from that customer, unless obviously they will want to expand their business. Next up is the ERA 3D high precision 3D scanner that works with your smartphone. Although I don't like the concept art of this, and the web page looks a little bit like that was just bolted in there. You can even see, look, because I'm very picky, if you look at that picture, 1 pixel missing, so somebody's obviously copy and pasted that on the top of there, so that app doesn't actually really exist. 3D models are created and displayed directly on the smartphone instantly. What I worry about with this is that it doesn't matter how good that hardware is if the software is shit, and that is one thing that Apple have always been able to do better than Android. It doesn't matter how good Android phones get, it doesn't matter how much processing power and memory they throw at it, if the software is janky, it's not going to be a good experience. And we've been spoiled by the union, the marriage of hardware and software that Apple does. So anybody else has to at least be at that level before you bring something out like this. It says precision, capture 3D detail, unprecedented sub-micron precision. That looks pretty incredible to me in terms of how much detail it is capturing. But then on the same side, if the software is not great, then who knows what kind of exports you're going to get. Desktop class app, I don't believe that for 1 minute. But anything that brings the price down of this stuff, anything that allows you to get 3D scans and pull it into a game, pull it into software, is good in my book, especially bringing 3D things from the real world into your computer and then tidying them up, cleaning them up, and who knows, maybe animating them and using them in your own game that you've made. It's a pretty good time to get into game development, because Epic have just changed their payouts to creators of assets from, I think, 70% to like 88%, and it's retroactive as well. So if you've been putting stuff in the Epic store for the last 5 years, you're going to get a back pay check as well for everything that you've ever made, because they're doing so well with Fortnite. Fortnite is basically paid all the bills. They're making a hell of enough money that they can afford to do something like that. So 3D stuff is a massive area that if you're looking at computers and being like, what can I do? What niche should I focus on? 3D, Epic Store. Next up, Bowhead Health. Now, I like this because it kind of touches on something that I had an idea about a year ago, to do with basic income and the Steem blockchain. And it's just about time, really. Having fun with self-care. Earn tokens for health, making health a habit. And I like this. I really like the design of their application as well. This like centered idea with different things around the edges, like things that make you healthy when you have balance in your life, from food to exercise to relationships. And I think people will slowly come around to the idea that how precious time is. I mean, we all say it, time is precious, but time literally does have a value to it. And especially when you're working with blockchain and ledger, you start to realize how you best want to shape your time. I mean, take us hunters, steem hunters, posting stuff on the blockchain. You know, every 24 hours we have a chance that our stuff might be upvoted or influenced or commented on, and you start a dialogue with people about why a product is good or not. So we're already doing something productive with our time, which is educating people who might not have education as to what makes a good product, a better product, better than a cheap and nasty stack it high cookie cutter product that's shipped over on shipping containers for 6 weeks and stacked high in pound stores in the UK, but that's another topic altogether. Next up, Honda, the power of dreams, fun riding at every speed. Honda Riding Assist motorcycle was exhibited at CES 2017, and I presume it's now been made. Otherwise, I would have probably knocked this back as a mod because it was CES last year. But I definitely think that one of the people that is going to be at the top of the chain when it comes to autonomy and artificial intelligence, self-driving machinery will be Honda, because they've already got a massive customer base, a loyal customer base, and so people know their product and probably will buy something else like this from them. I would just love something that was a self-balancing motorcycle. That's the one thing I hate about bikes, is the weight. Mainly because I dropped a 50cc one when I was about 17 and smashed somebody's like brake. But anything that was self-balancing, that would be sick. Next up is augmented reality, walla-me, hide messages in the real world. So Dalio sent me this. I thought it was really cool that you could put things in the real world on certain locations via AR. So you don't see them until you use this app and go to that location, and then you can see the message. It got me thinking about like how it could be used for nefarious purposes as well, rather than just your average, you know, cool thing to go and look at. Codes, leaving instructions, details about certain venues. This is a new area that we're going to start to realize as we move forward into this, is that, you know, you'll look at the real world, but then as soon as you put the VR glasses on, there could be a whole spectrum of marketing, promotion, like religious slants. It's going to be a clusterfuck. Next up, Isle of Nine. The only reason why I put a game in today, a battle royale game, is that you're going to start to see a lot more BR games. BR is not going away. It's not going anywhere. This whole multiplayer, plays a team, plays a clan, that's where the money's coming from. It's coming into esports from other entertainment that is no longer being watched on television or big sports. They're transitioning into esports. And literally every 6 months there's going to be somebody coming out with a new BR title. Will this succeed? I don't know. It seems to have got a lot of traction at the moment. They're doing a lot of things differently. Anything that brings competition into this arena is good for all the other BR titles that might not quite be making it. But the number one thing that is problematic with all of these games that needs fixing is somebody needs to write a really incredible, unbreakable, encrypted protocol layer for talking to the game. Because we have latency problems, we have cheating problems, and until those things are fixed, none of these games will be the game that it becomes de facto for the next 5 years. And we need a game that has that unbreakableness to it, because until that happens, you're just going to have like half of the players cheating and half the players frustrated with lag and latency as people DOS attack these servers, which you need the servers to run to be able to play multiplayer on. Next up is Einride, the T-log. If you ever wanted to know if we were living in the future or not, that's it right there. Look at that thing. That looks like every sci-fi film I've ever seen. In Time had something similar to that. This is a autonomous mode logging machine. So basically you would load it up. I presume that's still a manual job right now. I'm sure that will be done by robots at some point. Take the logs, put them on the back, and drive them to the destination, which I presume is where to the logging factory where they have them cut. Part commercial enterprise, part revolutionary movement. Einride is bent on a complete transformation of the transportation industry. And once this happens, once we have stuff like automated running through the night, self-driving, self-regulating on the highways and byways, that you can go into that job in the morning and all that stuff is arrived, that's a game changer. That's when things really start to change on planet Earth, because then we start to look at efficiency like we've never looked at efficiency before. Finally today, talking about efficiency, this is not loading. Fantastic. This was a little enclosure, like a little plastic thing. Let me see if I can get rid of the ref, because obviously there's something wrong here. This was a little plastic thing with like a lip on the front of it. It's really nicely designed, little innovative design. It's not loading. Which, see if I can bring it up on the site actually. Let me do this. Let me remind myself. Give me a second here. It was called the Ever Suite. Let me bring it up on the screen instead. Ever Suite. So it was a little bottle, and then on the end of it was this little plastic cup. You can see here, little plastic thing, and you got like a little switch, and then the water's in here, and you can like turn that, and then it dripples into here, and basically the dog can kind of like drink from that. I kind of liked it because it was innovative, and it's obviously somebody either with a degree or coming out of university came up with an idea. How can I have like a little product that I can safely and cleanly have my dog drink water? Maybe, is it useful? I think it's useful. I think it's intuitive. I think it's innovative, and I think it will sell purposely because we've reached that threshold where fashion and technology have met already, and now we're building stuff that is fashionable and in vogue, and people will pay for that stuff because it's also a talking point. That's it for me today. It is absolutely boiling in here now with the lights on. I know it's about 75 degrees, but this is the reason why I get up early in the morning. This is what Steem Hunt looks like as of July 2018. I'm not sure if it's going to change anytime soon. These are the links on the right hand side when you click through to come on the left hand side. If you want to add your own, you just fill this form in by logging in your Steam details. If you don't have a Steam account, sign up.steemit.com. 3 different ways to get an account. If you can't afford an account, you can wait and be verified. It takes about 7 days to get a free account. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye bye.